Aloha, my name is Jeremy Starkey. This is my presentation on native plants and trees of Hawaii. As I researched for this week's assignment, I was amazed by how many different species of plants and trees we have here in Hawaii. When you think about how small and isolated the islands are, it is truly incredible how many different plant species thrive here. The more research I did, the more I noticed one tree in particular that really stood out, the koa tree. Koa means warrior or brave one in the Hawaiian language. The koa tree is endemic to all of the Hawaiian Islands, and only the Hawaii Islands. Nowhere else in the world does it thrive. It's the second most common tree in Hawaii, and most common on the Big Island, Maui, and Oahu. But don't be fooled. Just because it's common does not mean that it's not important. On the contrary, it's probably the most sought after tree in Hawaii, if not all the world. The reason it is so common is the fact that the ancient Hawaiians knew how valuable koa was. They were so smart, they began cultivating the koa tree. They figured out that the koa tree likes elevations of 2,000 feet or higher, and koa prefers light ash-derived soils and highly weathered clays on older islands. During these times, the greater koa finch, the largest honey creeper, dined exclusively on koa seeds and pods. Sadly, it has been extinct since the late 1900s. The ancient Hawaiians knew that koa was good for the land and the environment. Let's watch a short video about why koa trees are so beneficial to their environment.
Aloha, my name is Kahoku, and this is a koa tree. The koa tree was here before any other human, and it's one of the oldest trees that are native to Hawaii that's actually here. And it's a nitrogen fixer, which means it releases nitrogen into the soil around it so that other plants can grow better. And these may look like leaves, but they're actually stems, and what they do is they make water fall directly under the tree, and it also collects moisture from the air. The way you can tell a koa tree is by the curve in the stem. And this is one that I picked up off the ground. What the curve does is it hangs like this, and when the rain comes, it drops on here and goes down to where the roots are. And then it also helps to collect moisture out of the air.
Even though koa is a dense hardwood, it is fast growing, up to 5 feet a year with the right conditions. When mature, they can reach 100 feet, sometimes even taller, like this 115-foot tree in South Kona. Unfortunately, there are many threats to koa trees throughout their lives. Burrow animals and weeds are some of the biggest threats to young koa trees. As the trees get older, they can fall victim to a plethora of disease and pests, from koa seed worms to wood-boring beetles, moths, root knot nematodes, stem-boring grubs, and the black twig borer. Due to koa's relationship with the bacteria in its roots for nitrogen fixing process, pesticides cannot be used to prevent these pests. As if that was not enough, there are several different types of fungus, root rot, and the deadly koa wilt. But it's not all doom and gloom, for it's only when these trees die that they are harvested to ensure sustainability. Harvesting living koa tree is prohibited and considered a sin, even if it's on private land. If you are lucky enough to get your hands on some koa, there are a vast number of different things that can be made. The ancient Hawaiians used koa in almost every aspect of their daily lives. They made canoes and surfboards, weapons and tools. They even crafted bowls to make poi, or boards to cut up and serve pig. Today, koa has even more uses, from musical instruments, high-end veneers, jewelry and watches, cabinets, flooring, and furniture. With all the demand for koa, reforestation projects have been put into place, and they are bringing a modern twist to the ancient idea of replanting koa. Let's watch this video that explains how the koa forests are being replanted today.
MOA Hawaii is named after Mokichi Okada and his wellness program. And MOA is an association that perpetuates many of his philosophies for creating a beautiful environment and a beautiful life. One of the things is we fill our spirit with healthy foods and healthy environment, meaning we go as far as organically possible, because in the true richness of compost or natural environment, it is where the spirit of nature truly exists. And so with Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods, they provide trees as the koa trees to become legacies, because for every koa tree that is planted, it provides clear oxygen for 4 people.
MOA Hawaii and Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods have a common goal, and our common goal is reforestation, and the way that we're going to go about doing it is through healing. And what we're doing is we're healing the earth. MOA Hawaii understands that that's very, very important, that humanity has to give back, and that's the way that we're going to move forward. Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods is identical in that area, and so therefore it's a very good legacy partner fit for us. What we do to help them out is we supply and they sponsor what's called legacy trees. So what we do is we plant trees for them on an individual basis. So their clients can go ahead and buy individual trees, like you see right here. And each one of these trees, you see these little tongue compressors, they go ahead and get computer chipped. And what we do is we plant a tree here, we computer chip it, and in that computer chip we know exactly who the mother tree is, the day the tree was planted, and also the owner of the tree and the GPS location of the tree and the day the tree was even fertilized. After the tree gets planted, we go ahead and we actually send out a certificate to the end user. So let's say someone went onto the MOA website, saw they wanted to sponsor a tree for $60. They do that, they fill it all out, we plant the tree, they get their certificate, and $20 of that $60 goes to MOA Hawaii. So it helps build them up so that they can focus their efforts on healing our lands too as well, in addition to what we're already doing with the trees.
This is a way we believe we can help replenish the earth in as much as it replenishes our health, our perspective on life, because it's within the journey of the spiritual and Mokichi Okada's association to spirituality is eating healthy, living healthy, and enjoying the vibrations of nature's beauty.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. You can GPS track a koa tree now? In a world that seems to be constantly robbing resources from the earth at an astounding rate. I'm glad to see that Hawaii is protecting its land and its resources. It really does make the islands a better place.